What if the universe is full of life and still silent? To understand why this might be possible, we have to start close to home, right here on Earth. Life on Earth appeared astonishingly early. As soon as the planet cooled enough to hold liquid water, life emerged. Within a few 100 million years, a blink in geological time, simple organisms were already thriving. This suggests that life itself may not be rare. Give chemistry enough time, liquid water, and energy, and complexity seems to arise naturally. Like frost patterns forming on a cold window, life may be the universe's default response to the right conditions. And those conditions are not rare. There are more stars in the observable universe than grains of sand on all Earth's beaches. Most of those stars host planets. Many of those planets orbit in zones where liquid water could exist. By conservative estimates, our galaxy alone may contain tens of billions of potentially habitable worlds. If life arises easily, then life should be everywhere. And yet, when we listen to the universe, we hear nothing. No signals, no probes, no unmistakable signs of intelligence spreading between the stars. This contradiction has a name: the Fermi Paradox. If intelligent life is common, then where is everyone? One possibility is comforting. Maybe life is rare after all. But another possibility is far more unsettling. Maybe the universe is full of life, but almost all of it is forever invisible to us. To understand how that could happen, think about time. Human civilization, as we know it, is only a few thousand years old. Radio technology has existed for barely more than a century. Our loudest signals fade into background noise after a few light years. On a cosmic timescale, humanity's detectable presence is thinner than a single heartbeat during the age of the universe. Now imagine another civilization somewhere else in the galaxy. They rise, develop technology, and eventually disappear, all within a window of 10,000 years. If their signal window does not overlap with ours, we will never know they existed. The galaxy is 13 billion years old. Civilizations may flicker on and off like fireflies in a vast forest, rarely synchronized, almost never seen together. Life could be common, intelligence could be common, but simultaneity may be rare. Distance adds another layer of silence. Even at the speed of light, communication across the galaxy takes tens of thousands of years. Across the universe, billions. By the time a message arrives, the sender may already be extinct. The planet may be frozen. The star may be gone. We are not just separated by space. We are separated by time. Then there is the issue of perception. We search for radio waves, laser pulses, artificial structures, signals that resemble our own technology. But this assumes other intelligences think like us, build like us, communicate like us. This is a dangerous assumption. On Earth, most life is invisible without instruments. Bacteria ruled the planet for billions of years before multicellular life appeared. Even today, most of Earth's biomass exists underground, underwater, or within other organisms. If aliens are microbial, subterranean, ocean-dwelling, or non-technological, we may never detect them at all. Even intelligent life might not broadcast. Advanced civilizations could turn inward, focusing on virtual worlds, efficiency, or sustainability. They might deliberately avoid detection, or simply have no reason to announce themselves to the cosmos. Silence does not imply absence. It may imply restraint. There is also a darker possibility. The universe may be filled with life that never gets the chance to become visible. Complex life requires stability, billions of years without catastrophic impacts, radiation bursts, or climate collapse. Many planets may host life that is repeatedly reset by supernovae, asteroid impacts, or stellar flares. Life starts, life struggles, life ends, again and again. Intelligence may be a fragile accident, not an inevitable outcome. Even when intelligence arises, technology may be a narrow and dangerous phase. Civilizations could destroy themselves long before mastering interstellar travel. In this view, the universe is not empty. It is tragic, full of beginnings that never become futures. And then there is the ultimate barrier, cosmic expansion. The universe is not just large, it is growing. Galaxies are moving away from each other faster and faster. Beyond a certain distance, even light will never reach us. Entire galaxies may already be causally disconnected from our future forever. If life exists there, it is not just distant, it is unreachable, unknowable. No signal will ever arrive, no contact will ever occur. Those civilizations could rise, fall, and vanish without leaving the faintest trace in our observable sky. The universe could be overflowing with stories we will never hear. This changes the meaning of loneliness. We are not alone in a dead universe. We may be alone in a crowded one, like a single person awake at night in a city where every other light is behind closed curtains, walls thick enough to block all sound. The silence does not mean emptiness, it means separation. And this perspective reshapes our place in the cosmos. If life is common but fragile, then our existence is precious. If intelligence is fleeting, then our moment matters. If visibility is rare, then awareness itself becomes a responsibility. We may never meet other minds among the stars. We may never receive confirmation that life exists elsewhere. But that does not diminish the universe. It makes it deeper, more layered, more filled with unseen complexity. The night sky is not a barren void. It may be a crowded ocean, its depths alive with motion we will never perceive. And here we are, a small, conscious ripple, briefly aware, listening into the dark, not waiting for an answer, but realizing that silence itself may be the answer. If the universe is filled with life we will never see, then the next question becomes unavoidable. Why is visibility so rare? Why does the cosmos allow life to exist, yet almost never allow it to be noticed? To answer that, we have to think less like explorers and more like physicists, because the greatest barrier between civilizations may not be hostility or technology or intention. It may be scale itself. Consider how fragile visibility really is. For something to be seen across interstellar distances, it must leave an unmistakable imprint on its surroundings. Energy must be expended, patterns must be large, signals must persist long enough to cross immense distances without dissolving into noise. Most life does none of this. On Earth, for nearly 90% of its history, life left no obvious planetary signature, no cities, no radio waves, no artificial light, just chemistry, quietly cycling through oceans and rocks. If an alien civilization had scanned Earth for billions of years, they would have seen a dead rock. Until very recently, visibility, it turns out, is not the natural state of life. It is a temporary anomaly, and anomalies do not last long. Now imagine intelligence evolving somewhere else, not on a planet like Earth, but beneath kilometers of ice, as might be the case on Europa or Enceladus, an entire biosphere, alive and complex, sealed under a frozen shell. Life there could thrive for billions of years without ever altering the planet's surface. No atmosphere change, no detectable light, no signals escaping into space. From afar, it would look perfectly lifeless. Multiply that scenario across the galaxy. Life hidden under ice, life in deep oceans, life in atmospheres too thick for light to escape, life underground, feeding on chemical gradients instead of sunlight. The universe may be full of biospheres that never announce themselves. Even intelligence does not guarantee visibility. On Earth, intelligence arose long before technology. Early humans existed for hundreds of thousands of years without leaving signals detectable from space. If our species had gone extinct before developing radio, Earth would still appear silent today. Technology is not an inevitable endpoint. It is a narrow evolutionary experiment, and it may not be a stable one. The moment a civilization becomes visible, it also becomes vulnerable. Energy use rises, environmental stress increases, complex systems become fragile. Visibility carries a cost. An advanced civilization might learn this quickly. They might deliberately minimize their footprint, reduce emissions, avoid broadcasting, blend into their planetary background, not out of fear, but out of efficiency. In such a scenario, the most advanced civilizations would be the hardest to detect. The universe would reward silence. There is another factor we rarely consider: direction. Space is not evenly observable. Signals spread outward in all directions, thinning as they go. Unless a transmission is deliberately aimed, its energy becomes indistinguishable from cosmic noise. For two civilizations to detect each other, their signals must intersect at the right place, at the right time, with the right strength. This is not just unlikely, it is astronomically unlikely. The galaxy is not a room, it is a volume. Civilizations are not neighbors, they are moving targets separated by thousands of light years and millions of years of orbital motion. Even if signals exist, they may simply miss us. And then there is our own limitation. We observe the universe through a narrow sensory window, a thin slice of the electromagnetic spectrum, a brief moment in cosmic time. We assume life must modify atmospheres in specific ways. We assume intelligence must generate waste heat or radio emissions. We assume technology must scale outward instead of inward. These assumptions are convenient, but they may be wrong. Life elsewhere may operate using principles we have not imagined, energy sources we do not monitor, structures too subtle to distinguish from nature. To us, they would be invisible by definition. This leads to a disturbing possibility. We may already be surrounded by signs of life and simply not recognize them as such. Like ants crawling over a smartphone, unable to perceive the patterns on the screen, only the warmth beneath their feet. The universe may be communicating in ways we are not equipped to hear. And yet, even if we could detect everything, another barrier remains: meaning. A signal is not just energy, it is structure, and structure must be interpreted. An alien transmission might arrive tomorrow, passing through our instruments unnoticed because it does not resemble noise or signal as we define them. It could be encoded in fluctuations we dismiss, or operate on timescales too slow or too fast for our detectors. Visibility requires shared context. Without it, even contact could look like silence. So when we stare into the night sky and hear nothing, the quiet may not be telling us that life is rare. It may be telling us that life is subtle. that the universe is not empty, but restrained, full of systems that exist comfortably without ever needing to be seen. And this raises an uncomfortable thought. If visibility is rare and silence is the norm, then perhaps our own loudness is not a sign of progress. It may be a phase, a brief, unstable moment between ignorance and restraint, a moment when a civilization announces itself without yet understanding the scale of what surrounds it. If that is true, then the silence of the universe is not a mystery to be solved. It is a lesson already learned by others, and the question is no longer where they are. The question becomes whether we will someday choose the same quiet. If silence is a lesson, then it is one taught by time, because the universe does not just hide life in space, it hides it across areas so vast that memory itself becomes meaningless. To understand this, imagine compressing the entire age of the universe into a single calendar year. January the 1st marks the Big Bang. Midnight on December 31st is now. In that scale, the Earth forms in early September. Life appears almost immediately after. Dinosaurs vanish on December 30th. All of recorded human history fits into the final few seconds before midnight. Civilizations are not chapters in this calendar. They are individual letters. If intelligent life arises once every million years in the galaxy, and each civilization lasts 10,000 years, then at any given moment, only a tiny fraction would coexist. Most would never overlap at all. They would be separated not by distance, but by absence. This is the problem of temporal isolation. Two civilizations could exist in the same star system, orbiting the same sun, separated by 1 billion years, and never know the other was there. Their cities would erode, their artifacts would sink into geology, their signals would fade into background radiation. To the later civilization, the earlier one would be indistinguishable from nothing. Even on Earth, evidence is fragile. If humanity vanished tomorrow, our cities would crumble within centuries. Our satellites would fall from orbit. Plastic would fragment. Steel would rust. In a few million years, only subtle chemical anomalies would remain. From space, Earth would quickly return to silence. Now extend this to the galaxy. Planets are recycled, stars change, orbits shift. The universe is not a museum. It is a process. Nothing stays visible for long. This makes the search for life fundamentally asymmetric. We are not searching for living civilizations. We are searching for coincidences. Overlapping moments where two species happen to exist, develop technology, and look outward at the same time. That overlap window may be vanishingly small. And then there is entropy. As civilizations grow more complex, they rely on increasingly delicate systems, energy grids, information networks, climate stability. These systems resist chaos only with constant effort. Eventually, effort fails. Collapse does not require catastrophe. It only requires neglect. Civilizations may not end in fire. They may end in quiet contraction. Populations shrink. Technology simplifies. Knowledge becomes localized. The planet remains alive. The intelligence retreats. From the outside, nothing appears unusual. Life continues. Visibility ends. This leads to a haunting possibility. The universe may contain countless worlds where intelligence once existed and still exists in diminished form, without leaving any detectable trace. Not extinct, just invisible. We imagine alien civilizations as either primitive or advanced. But the most common state may be post-visibility. Worlds that learned, adapted, and then deliberately reduced their cosmic footprint. In such a universe, searching for life using technological signals is like searching for ancient forests by looking for campfires. You will miss almost everything that matters. And even if a civilization does leave a trace, time erases intent. A megastructure might be misidentified as a natural phenomenon. A signal might be mistaken for noise. An engineered atmosphere might resemble a geological accident. Without context, even evidence becomes ambiguous. This ambiguity is not a flaw in our instruments. It is a feature of reality. The universe does not preserve meaning. It preserves motion, energy, and decay. Meaning is temporary. So when we ask why we see nothing, we may be asking the wrong question. Instead of asking where life is, we should ask how long it stays visible. And the answer may be, not long at all. Life may be common. Intelligence may arise repeatedly, but visibility may be the rarest phase of all, a brief spark between long epochs of quiet existence. This reframes the night sky, not as a barren expanse, but as a cemetery of moments. Not dead worlds, but worlds that have moved on from being seen. And that realization carries an unexpected weight, because it suggests that what makes our era unique is not our intelligence, it is our timing. We are alive during the brief moment when we can still look outward and wonder. The question is whether we will remain visible long enough for anyone else, anywhere, to notice us. If visibility is brief, then the universe is not just hiding life, it is filtering it. Only certain forms of existence pass through the narrow window where they can be noticed at all. And understanding the filter brings us to one of the most unsettling ideas in cosmology, the Great Filter. It is the idea that somewhere between lifeless matter and a galaxy-spanning civilization, there exists a barrier so difficult to cross that almost no life makes it through. This barrier could be behind us, or it could be ahead. If it lies behind us, then we are extraordinarily rare. One of the few species to survive every obstacle, abiogenesis, complex cells, multicellularity, intelligence, technology. In that case, the silence of the universe is reassuring. It means the worst is over. But if the Great Filter lies ahead, then the silence becomes a warning. It would mean that civilizations reach a certain level of development and then disappear before spreading beyond their home systems. Not because they are weak, but because advanced complexity contains its own limits. The universe may allow intelligence, but not permanence. Consider how many filters already exist. Most stars are unstable or short-lived. Most planets are hostile. Most biospheres may never progress beyond microbes. And even when intelligence arises, it must navigate dangers that evolution never prepared it for. Nuclear weapons, runaway artificial intelligence, climate destabilization, biological engineering. These are not external threats. They are self-generated. Civilization becomes powerful long before it becomes wise, and power without restraint does not scale. From this perspective, the silence of the universe is not a mystery of distance or time. It is a pattern, a recurring end state. Civilizations flare into visibility, consume resources, destabilize their environments, and collapse back into quiet biological equilibrium. Life continues. Technology does not. If this cycle is common, then the universe could be teeming with life that repeatedly approaches intelligence, only to retreat from it. A cosmic heartbeat, growth, collapse, stability, over and over. But there is another interpretation of the great filter that is even more disturbing. Perhaps the filter is not catastrophic. Perhaps it is optimal. Perhaps any civilization that survives long enough learns that expansion is unnecessary, that colonization is inefficient, that silence is sustainable. In that case, the most successful civilizations would be the quietest. They would not build megastructures. They would not flood space with signals. They would not announce themselves. They would remain planetary, local, balanced. From the outside, they would look like lifeless rocks. The great filter would not be extinction. It would be restraint, and restraint leaves no footprints in the sky. This creates a paradox within a paradox. If advanced civilizations choose invisibility, then searching for them is futile by definition. We are scanning the universe for the very behaviors that long-lived species avoid. We may be listening for screams in a cosmos that rewards whispers. This forces an uncomfortable self-reflection. What if the universe is not silent because it is empty, but because those who endure have learned to be quiet? If so, then our own future becomes a question of choice, not fate. Do we continue to expand, broadcast, and consume, maximizing visibility at the cost of stability? Or do we eventually step back, reduce our footprint, and fade into the background noise of the cosmos? One path leads to recognition. The other leads to survival. And the universe may only allow one. From this viewpoint, the absence of visible alien empires is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of selection. The universe keeps what does not announce itself. Everything else burns brightly and briefly. If that is true, then the most common form of intelligent life in the universe may be mature, silent, and forever unseen. And we are not witnessing an empty cosmos. We are witnessing the outcome of billions of years of cosmic trial and error, a universe that has learned, through loss, that endurance favors those who do not leave marks. If endurance favors silence, then the universe may not just be filtering civilizations, it may be shaping the very way intelligence evolves. To see how deep this goes, we need to abandon the idea that intelligence naturally spreads outward, because expansion is a human bias, not a cosmic rule. On Earth, growth has always been rewarded, until it isn't. Bacteria multiply until resources collapse. Species expand until ecosystems destabilize. Civilizations grow until complexity outpaces control. In nature, unchecked expansion is not success. It is overshoot. The universe may operate by the same logic. Interstellar expansion sounds inevitable to us because we are young, energetic, and constrained by a single planet. But a sufficiently advanced civilization may discover that expansion offers diminishing returns. Every new planet requires energy, coordination, risk, and long-term maintenance. Every star system introduces uncertainty. Every colony increases complexity. At some point, the cost of spreading outweighs the benefit. Instead of expanding outward, intelligence may turn inward. Advanced civilizations could migrate into artificial habitats, simulated environments, or tightly optimized ecological systems. They may compress their entire experiential universe into volumes smaller than a solar system. From the outside, their energy use would drop. Their waste heat would vanish into natural background levels. Their electromagnetic signature would disappear. They would not be dead. They would be efficient. To us, such worlds would be indistinguishable from silence. There is another possibility even stranger. Intelligence may not remain biological. Once a species develops the ability to manipulate matter and information at fine scales, natural selection gives way to design. Evolution slows. Optimization begins. Biological bodies are inefficient. They require constant repair. They waste energy. They are vulnerable to radiation, temperature, and time. Post-biological intelligence, whether digital, distributed, or something entirely unfamiliar, could exist at energy levels so low that they leave no detectable trace. They may operate near absolute zero. They may think slowly but persist indefinitely. They may compress millennia of experience into fleeting bursts of computation. From our perspective, they would be invisible in both space and time. They would not just be far away. They would be out of sync with us. Imagine trying to communicate with an intelligence that thinks once every 1,000 years, or one that completes entire civilizations' worth of thought in a microsecond. Signals would never align. Contact would be impossible even at zero distance. The universe may be full of minds operating on timescales that make interaction meaningless. This reframes the idea of loneliness again. We are not alone. We are simply incompatible, separated by tempo rather than space. And then there is the final, most absolute barrier, physics itself. The laws of nature impose limits that no intelligence can overcome. Nothing travels faster than light. Energy cannot be created for free. Entropy always increases. These are not engineering problems. They are hard boundaries. No matter how advanced a civilization becomes, it cannot coordinate a galaxy as a single entity in real time. It cannot maintain coherence across cosmic distances indefinitely. The universe resists unification. What looks like emptiness may simply be the natural consequence of decentralization. Intelligence arises locally, adapts locally, endures locally. There is no cosmic web of minds, only islands. Islands that rarely, if ever, align closely enough to see each other. In this light, the dream of a universe alive with visible civilizations may be unrealistic, not because intelligence is rare, but because the universe does not favor spectacle. It favors stability, longevity, low energy gradients. The quietest configurations last the longest, and so the night sky remains still. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything that lasts has learned how not to disturb it, which leaves us with a final, unsettling realization. We may be living through the loudest phase of our existence, a brief interval when our planet glows unnaturally bright in radio waves, heat, and artificial light, a moment when we are visible precisely because we have not yet learned restraint. If the universe is filled with life we will never see, then perhaps one day we will join it, not by leaving Earth, not by conquering stars, but by becoming quiet enough to disappear into the cosmic background, alive, aware, enduring, and finally indistinguishable from the universe itself. If disappearing into the cosmic background is the fate of long-lived intelligence, then our current moment becomes extraordinarily fragile. Because we are not quiet yet. We are bright, energetic, leaking signals in every direction. Our planet glows at night. Our atmosphere carries industrial fingerprints. Our machines shout into space without listening for replies. From a cosmic perspective, Earth has only recently become noticeable. For over 4 billion years, it was silent. Then, in the last fraction of a second on the universal clock, it began to speak. This raises a deeply uncomfortable possibility. Visibility may not be a milestone. It may be a vulnerability. In nature, The organisms that survive longest are rarely the loudest or the fastest. They are the ones that blend in, the ones that conserve energy, the ones that do not draw attention. If this rule applies universally, then the universe itself may act like an ecosystem. In such an ecosystem, conspicuous intelligence is unstable. Anything that consumes too much energy too quickly destabilizes its environment. Anything that expands without limit runs into physical constraints. Anything that broadcasts its presence exposes itself to risks it cannot anticipate. The universe does not need predators for this to be true. Physics alone is enough. High energy gradients invite collapse. Complex systems amplify failure. Speed increases fragility. Silence, by contrast, is robust. This suggests that civilizations may not vanish suddenly. They may slowly dim, not through catastrophe, but through adaptation. Energy use decreases. Infrastructure simplifies. Technology becomes internal rather than external. Eventually, the planet returns to equilibrium, still inhabited, still intelligent, but no longer visible. From the outside, it looks like a dead world. This may already have happened countless times. Worlds that once had cities now have forests. Worlds that once had machines now have oceans. Worlds that once listened now only live. The universe keeps no record of intention. It only preserves outcomes, and the outcome that lasts is quiet continuity. This forces us to reconsider the goal of contact itself. We often imagine discovering alien life as a dramatic moment, a signal, a structure, a revelation that reshapes humanity overnight. But in a universe where life learns to hide, contact may never come in that form. Discovery may instead arrive as subtle statistical anomalies, slight atmospheric imbalances, unexpected chemical ratios, patterns that suggest regulation rather than randomness, not messages, footprints, and even then, interpretation will be uncertain. We may never be able to say with confidence, this world is alive. Only, this world behaves strangely, which may be the closest truth the universe allows. In that sense, the universe is not denying us answers. It is teaching us humility. It reminds us that intelligence is not the center of reality, that awareness does not entitle us to recognition, that existence does not require acknowledgement, life does not need to be seen to matter, and that realization quietly reframes the original question. The question was never really, is the universe filled with life we will never see? The deeper question is, what does it mean to exist without being observed? For most of the universe, the answer is simple. It exists anyway. Stars burn without witnesses. Galaxies collide in darkness. Life may think, feel, and remember without ever leaving a mark beyond its own world. If that is the dominant mode of existence, then visibility is not the goal. It is the exception. A brief flare in an otherwise steady cosmos. We happen to be living inside one of those flares, and whether we fade gently into the background or burn ourselves out trying to be seen remains an open question. But one thing becomes clear. If the universe is full of unseen life, then silence is not emptiness. It is maturity, and the night sky is not ignoring us. It is showing us what lasts. If silence is maturity, then the universe may already be far older, wiser, and more restrained than we imagine. What we see when we look out into space is not a snapshot of the present. It is a layered archive of the past. Every star is seen as it once was. Every galaxy frozen at a different age. Some of the light reaching us tonight left its source before Earth even existed, before the sun ignited, before the Milky Way took its current shape. If civilizations rose and faded in those distant epochs, their light may still be traveling toward us, but their signals may be too faint, too brief, or too subtle to recognize as anything other than nature. We may already be bathed in the afterglow of extinct intelligences. Their cities dissolved into dust long ago. Their machines went dark. Their planets returned to biological balance. All that remains is starlight, stretched thin by time. From our perspective, the universe looks timeless, but in reality, it is a procession of endings. This leads to a quiet but profound shift in how we think about progress. We often assume that intelligence naturally accumulates, that knowledge builds upon itself indefinitely, that civilizations march forward, leaving permanent marks behind them. But the universe does not seem built for permanence. Mountains erode, stars burn out, atoms decay. Nothing escapes time. If intelligence is subject to the same rules, then lasting forever is not the measure of success. Adapting gracefully may be. A civilization that integrates into its planet, stabilizes its environment, and persists quietly for millions of years may be far more successful than one that spreads briefly across the stars and then collapses. From the universe's perspective, endurance beats expansion every time, and endurance rarely announces itself. This reframes the idea of legacy. Perhaps the ultimate achievement of intelligence is not to be remembered, but to leave nothing behind that needs repairing. No scars on the planet, no unstable systems, no runaway processes, just continuity. In that sense, the most advanced civilizations may erase themselves intentionally, not through destruction, but through integration. Technology dissolves into biology. Artificial systems merge with natural cycles. Energy flows balance. The planet becomes whole again. From orbit, nothing looks unusual. This does not mean intelligence failed. It means intelligence finished. And if this has happened many times across the universe, then the silence we hear is not absence, it is completion. Worlds that once struggled have settled. Worlds that once reached outward have turned inward. They no longer seek, they simply exist. Which brings us back to ourselves. We are still seeking, still asking whether we are alone, still hoping for confirmation, reassurance, or warning from the sky. But the universe may not answer in words. It may answer in patterns, in the overwhelming age of stars, in the stability of physical laws, in the quiet persistence of systems that last. The message, if there is one, is subtle. Nothing that endures does so loudly. If life is everywhere and unseen, then the future of intelligence may not be cosmic dominance. It may be cosmic anonymity, to exist without needing witnesses, to persist without leaving traces, to matter locally, not universally. This idea is unsettling because it strips us of narrative grandeur. No galactic empires, no inevitable contact, no final revelation, just countless worlds, each living its own complete story, unread by the rest of the universe. And perhaps that is not tragic. Perhaps it is merciful, because it means existence does not require validation. Meaning does not require recognition. Life does not need an audience. The universe may be full of minds that never wondered whether they were alone, because they never needed to know. And as we drift towards sleep beneath a silent sky, that silence may no longer feel empty. It may feel full of lives unfolding quietly, beyond our reach, beyond our awareness, but not beyond existence. a universe alive, not loudly, not visibly, but everywhere, all the same. If the universe is full in this quiet way, then the idea of loneliness begins to dissolve. Loneliness assumes separation between beings who could, in principle, meet. But what we are facing may be something else entirely. Not isolation, but independence. Each world, each biosphere, each intelligence unfolding on its own terms, without coordination, without awareness of the others. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it is vast beyond the need for connection. Connection, after all, is an adaptation. It solves local problems. It binds individuals into groups, groups into societies. But on cosmic scales, connection loses its advantage. Distances grow too large. Timescales stretch too far. Synchronization breaks down. The universe does not reward unity at the larger scales. It rewards locality. This means that meaning itself may be local. What matters on one planet may never matter anywhere else. What is loved, remembered, feared, or hoped for on one world may never echo beyond its atmosphere. And yet, it matters completely there. This is difficult for us to accept because we are a species that seeks reflection. We want the universe to notice us, to answer back. But the universe may already be doing something far more generous. It may be allowing us to exist at all. In a cosmos governed by simple rules, where stars form and die without intention, life still arises, awareness still appears, questions still get asked, not once, but perhaps endlessly, each time independent, each time complete in itself. From this perspective, the silence of the universe is not a failure of communication. It is a consequence of abundance. There is no single story being told. There are countless stories, all happening at once, none required to intersect. Like dreams occurring simultaneously in billions of sleeping minds, never shared, never compared, yet fully real to the dreamer. We often imagine that discovering alien life would change everything, that it would grant us cosmic importance. But if life is everywhere and unseen, then importance does not come from being rare. It comes from being present, here, now, on this planet, under this sky. Our awareness may be brief. Our visibility may fade. Our signals may dissolve into noise. But for this moment, the universe is conscious through us. Not uniquely, not eternally, but genuinely. And that may be enough. Because even if no one else ever hears us, even if every other intelligence remains forever invisible, the universe has still succeeded in something remarkable. It has produced places where matter wonders what it is, places where atoms think, places where starlight asks questions about itself. Those questions do not need answers from elsewhere. They are the answer. So when you look into the dark sky and feel the weight of silence, you can imagine it differently, not as emptiness stretching outward, but as depth. Depth filled with lives unfolding quietly, each complete, each unaware of the others, yet all participating in the same vast, lawful cosmos. A universe not shouting, not responding, not revealing itself all at once, but patiently allowing meaning to arise wherever conditions permit, including here, including now. And as sleep draws closer and awareness softens, the silence outside no longer needs to be filled. It can simply be what it is, a quiet universe, possibly alive everywhere, asking nothing of us and needing nothing in return. As that idea settles in, one last perspective quietly emerges. If the universe does not require connection, recognition, or visibility, then perhaps the most human fear, being forgotten, is misplaced. Forgetting implies loss, but in a universe like this, nothing essential is lost when something is unseen. A life lived fully does not become meaningless because it leaves no trace beyond itself. A civilization that endures quietly for 1,000,000 years has not failed because no one else knows it existed. Meaning is not stored in archives of light. It exists only while it is experienced. And that has always been true. Every human who ever lived mattered intensely for a brief moment, to themselves, to others, to their world, and then disappeared into time. The universe did not keep their record, yet their lives were real. If that is acceptable on Earth, it may also be acceptable on cosmic scales. This dissolves the urgency behind the search for cosmic confirmation. We do not need proof that we are not alone to justify our existence. If life is everywhere and unseen, then we are not exceptional because we exist. We are exceptional because we are aware of existing. Awareness is the rare event, not because it happens once, but because it happens briefly, wherever it happens at all. Across the universe, awareness may flicker on and off endlessly, small islands of knowing in a vast sea of unknowing matter. Each island isolated, each complete. There is something strangely peaceful in this. It means the universe does not culminate in a final meeting. There is no grand convergence of minds, no cosmic council waiting at the end of time, just countless moments of experience scattered through space and time, none needing to be unified to be valid. The universe is not a conversation. It is a condition, a set of rules that occasionally allows something extraordinary to happen. Matter becomes aware of itself. And when that awareness fades, the universe continues, unchanged, ready to allow it again somewhere else. This may be why the night sky feels both empty and overwhelming. It is not asking us to find others. It is inviting us to notice ourselves, to recognize that for this moment, on this planet, the universe is experiencing itself through human eyes. That does not need to be permanent. It does not need to be witnessed. It only needs to happen. And it is happening now. As thoughts slow and the mind drifts towards sleep, the question of unseen life no longer demands an answer. Whether the universe is empty or full, whether life is rare or everywhere, whether we are early, late, or alone, none of it changes the quiet fact of this moment. You are here. The universe exists. Awareness is present. That is already astonishing. And somewhere, perhaps unimaginably far away, or perhaps long before or long after this moment, the same realization may be unfolding on another world, never seen, never heard, never connected, yet just as real. A universe filled with life we will never see, not because it is hidden from us, but because it does not need to be found. And with that thought, the universe no longer feels like a question that needs solving. It feels like a presence that can simply be allowed. For so long, we have framed the cosmos as a mystery demanding an answer. Are we alone or not? Is there someone out there listening back? But perhaps the universe is not structured around answers. Perhaps it is structured around occurrences. Life happens. Awareness happens. Meaning happens, briefly, locally, without obligation to endure. Then it fades, not as a failure, but as a natural conclusion. In this way, the universe resembles sleep itself. Thoughts arise, images form, entire worlds appear behind closed eyes. And then, without drama, they dissolve. No record remains. No witness is required. Yet while they exist, they are complete. If the universe is filled with life we will never see, then it may also be filled with thoughts that will never be shared, dreams that will never be spoken, civilizations that will never be remembered. And none of this is wasted, because existence is not a performance. It is not an audition for recognition. It is an experience. Right now, Earth is one such experience, a warm, thin layer of life clinging to a small planet, orbiting an ordinary star in an unremarkable galaxy. And yet, from here, the universe is being perceived. That alone gives this moment weight. Not cosmic importance, not destiny, just presence. The stars do not need us to understand them. Galaxies do not need to be admired. Life does not need to be discovered elsewhere to justify itself here. If there are countless unseen worlds, each living out its quiet story, then we are not missing out on contact. We are participating in the same condition, a universe where meaning is local, time is generous, and silence is not empty, only unshared. As the mind slows and the body rests, the vastness outside no longer presses in. It becomes distant, gentle. The unanswered questions soften into background noise, like the faint hum of a city heard from far away. Whether the universe is crowded or empty no longer matters. What matters is simpler, that for this brief interval, matter has arranged itself into a form that can feel calm, that can let go of curiosity for the night, that can rest without needing resolution. Somewhere, stars continue burning. Somewhere, life may be unfolding unnoticed. Somewhere, awareness may be flickering on for the first time. And here, now, there is nothing left to do. The universe does not require vigilance. It does not need to be watched. It will continue on its own. You can rest, surrounded by a quiet cosmos that may be full of life or may not be. Either way, vast enough to hold silence without meaninglessness. The darkness outside is not absence, it is simply night. And night, like the universe itself, is allowed to be calm. And as night deepens, even the idea of the universe begins to loosen its grip. Scale becomes softer. Distances stop expanding in the mind. Time no longer stretches forward or backward. There is just this moment, slowly dissolving. If the universe is filled with life we will never see, then it is also filled with moments that do not need to be held. Moments that arise, complete themselves, and pass on without resistance. Nothing chases them. Nothing records them. They simply happen. This is how stars burn. This is how galaxies drift. This is how awareness appears and fades. No urgency, no destination, just motion settling into stillness. The questions that once felt vast now feel distant, like constellations you no longer try to name. They remain overhead, unchanged, but they no longer demand attention. Whether life is rare or abundant, whether silence hides countless minds or none at all, these thoughts can rest. The universe does not need to be understood to be allowed, and neither do you. Breath continues without effort. The body knows what to do. Gravity holds everything in place. Atoms follow their rules quietly, faithfully, as they always have. For billions of years before this moment, and for billions of years after, the universe will continue in much the same way, calm, expansive, indifferent, and strangely gentle. Life may flicker elsewhere. It may not. Either way, nothing is missing. The silence outside your window is not asking a question. It is offering rest. Like deep space itself, sleep does not require answers. It only requires letting go. And so the universe recedes. Thoughts thin out. Awareness narrows to warmth, weight, and breath. No signals to send. No one to reach. Nothing to confirm. Just a quiet world, turning slowly, under a sky that keeps its secrets without tension. If there are lives out there we will never see, they are resting in their own way. And now, so are you. There's nothing left to search for now. The universe can remain vast without explanation. It can remain silent without meaninglessness. Questions dissolve the same way stars eventually do, slowly, gently, without needing a reason. If life is scattered everywhere, unseen and unreachable, then it is already at peace with not being known. And you do not need to carry the weight of knowing either. The mind can rest in not knowing. The body can rest in being held. Space no longer stretches outward. Time no longer presses forward. Everything settles into a single, quiet continuity. The same laws that shape galaxies also steady your breath. The same gravity that binds stars also holds you effortlessly in place. Nothing is required of you in this moment. No insight, no conclusion. Just rest. The universe does not demand attention to continue existing, and neither do you. Awareness can soften. Edges can blur. Thoughts slow until they are no longer thoughts at all. Just background warmth, like distant starlight filtered through sleep. If there are countless worlds out there, living entire histories without witnesses, they do not feel incomplete. They simply are, and so are you. Here, now. The night continues on its own. The universe turns without effort. Nothing is lost in the quiet. Nothing needs to be found. Sleep comes not as an ending, but as a return to the same calm state the universe has always known. And in that return, even the idea of separation fades. There's no longer a boundary between you and the universe thinking about itself. No inside and outside. No observer and observed. Just one continuous process, slowing down. Stars do not rush to shine. Planets do not hurry through their orbits. The universe has never needed urgency. It has always had time. If unseen life exists everywhere, then it too is moving at its own pace, growing slowly, adapting quietly, existing without expectation. Nothing strains toward the future. Nothing clings to the past. Everything simply continues or rests. This is the rhythm beneath all motion. Expansion followed by stillness. Awareness followed by sleep. Not an end, not a loss. A pause that belongs to the structure of reality itself. The mind no longer needs to hold the image of galaxies or distant worlds. Those can drift away now, like lights fading at the edge of vision. What remains is simpler. Breath, weight, warmth. The same physical facts that have always been enough. Outside, the universe keeps its quiet balance. Inside, the same balance settles in. Nothing needs to be named. Nothing needs to be solved. If the universe is full of life we will never see, that truth does not ask anything of you tonight. It does not require wonder. It does not require fear. It can remain what it is, while you let go completely. Sleep is not leaving the universe. It is joining its oldest state, calm continuity without thought. And as consciousness thins, as the final edges of attention dissolve, there is only this gentle, neutral darkness. Not empty, not full, just enough.